One day, a type of unknown virus turned many people into zombies. In such a world, this boy made a plan for himself, which was, before becoming a zombie, to complete 100 things. That day, the boy became a member of the main camera company. He returned home full of enthusiasm, filled with anticipation for the future. But after attending the hero meeting, he started an endless overtime life. Upon joining the company, he pulled 2 all-nighters for work and realized what corporate slavery meant. From then on, the company basically became his home. Colleagues were treated coldly and indifferently. The leader ignored the boy's experiences, and with no hope of promotion in sight, the boy couldn't help but complain to his good friend. His friend bragged about his romantic exploits, but an argument soon erupted. The boy could only resign himself to continuing to work, gradually worn down by life, unable to withstand the boss's criticism. He didn't even dare to have thoughts of quitting. Every day, the boy woke up earlier than a rooster and slept later than a dog. Each day, the sound of the crowd woke him. With only one thought in his mind, "I don't want to go to work." Struggling to get out of bed, as he went downstairs, he was startled by what he saw. An uncle was hugging a girl, which oddly energized the boy. The zombie episode suddenly became a reality. Seeing the approaching uncle, he wanted to run back home, but upstairs more zombies were rushing towards him. Terrified, the boy ran for his life, heading upward, jumping to the rooftop, only to find that the zombie army was spreading. He saw an airplane from a nearby trade center, and a tall iron building pass by. The boy realized that the surrounding area had already fallen. He suddenly realized that since everyone had become zombies, he wouldn't need to go to work anymore. At that moment, the boy felt luckier than the zombies because on his first day of not going to work. After a year, the boy, who hadn't rested well, was finally able to enjoy the sunlight on the rooftop. He was slightly affected by the future arrival of the zombies. Suddenly, he thought of his beautiful senior colleague. After getting a response from her, he felt more at ease. Putting away the water pipe he was holding, the boy left the rooftop, preparing to go shopping for some things. He discovered that there were still some surviving residents, and a kind person even offered to help with the shopping. The boy rode his bicycle, full of energy, heading towards the beautiful senior's house. Even though a lot of zombies were chasing him, he felt an unprecedented happiness on the way. After arriving at the senior's house, the boy was caught off guard when a helmet was thrown at him. Happiness came too suddenly, but in the next second, the boss zombie launched an attack. The two of them had a bit of history. To save the injured senior, the boy rushed forward and grabbed the boss zombie by the head, but accidentally pulled off his wig, revealing a bald head. The boy was then knocked flying by the boss, and as he lay there, he reminisced about the past. While the boy struck a defensive stance when the boss zombie launched another attack, he accidentally sent his own wig flying. Then the senior lifted a heavy stick and finally delivered the finishing blow to the boss. The boy, in his shock and panic, was momentarily stunned. When he came to his senses, he saw that the senior had collapsed and lay motionless. As she rose up, showing signs of the zombie virus spreading from her wound like smoke, the boy looked at the once beautiful woman who had now turned into this form, and his heart ached. After saying his goodbyes, he wept bitterly. As the boy grabbed the water pipe again, he realized that even now, his surviving family had also fallen victim. The exhausted boy couldn't stop himself from sinking to the ground, but he remembered how the senior had once encouraged him to pursue the things he truly wanted to do. Inspired by this, the boy regained his composure. He looked at the desk, realizing that aside from turning into a zombie, he still had a list of 100 things to accomplish. The sun was shining brightly. The boy opened the curtains and began tidying up the room he hadn't cleaned in a long time. In the end, he wore his black jacket again. The boy, leaning against the big glass window, styled his hair handsomely. After lighting a firework in the distance, the boy spotted a Harley motorcycle, deciding to trade his bicycle for it, and rode off happily to an open space. As night fell, the boy set off a few fireworks just for himself. After the fireworks ended, the smile on his face faded. On the third day, he went up to the rooftop for a feast but realized he was out of seasoning. He had no choice but to head to the supermarket to get some soy sauce. However, he got into a fight with a girl zombie. Glancing at her beautiful face, he couldn't help but feel a bit moved. Outside, there was someone shouting for help, and the boy, deciding to assist, had to take on the fight. However, the girl picked up a stick and swiftly defeated the zombie with a few hits. Although the boy wanted to team up with her, she rejected his offer. Returning home, the boy thought of his friend the boy and called to check in on him. He found out that the boy was trapped in a hotel, and that his girlfriend had contracted the zombie virus but hadn't turned into a zombie yet. Luckily, the boy's friend was still alive. Determined to save his friend, the boy decided to take a bottle of wine and fight his way out, inspired by the girl's approach. Who cares about going back to work? Riding his motorcycle through the streets, narrowly avoiding danger, the boy was trailed by a string of zombies, but eventually made his way to the red light district. Due to the vibrant nightlife in the area, there were many zombies around. The boy threw a speaker into the distance, and a large group of zombies immediately gathered around it. Taking advantage of this, the boy made his way to the hotel and successfully met up with his friend. They escaped through the safety passage without a hitch. Under the boy's leadership, life became more interesting and convenient for his friend. On the 6th day, they planned to head to an aquarium, looking for some costumes for a zombie survival roleplay. To the boy's surprise, they discovered an RV. The boy, being rational, suggested they first gather some essentials. While searching, they ended up at a nearby convenience store. A sudden crash from a bus attracted their attention, and the zombies rushed toward it. The people on the bus desperately tried to escape, but they were quickly overwhelmed and taken down by the zombies, except for a security guard and a woman. The boy and his friend, who were in the convenience store, were preparing to close the doors when the boy spotted the girl they had encountered earlier. She was trapped in the circle of zombies. The boy immediately called out, directing her to safety. With her and the boy working together, they managed to keep the zombies outside. No one noticed anything odd about the security guard, though they all thought the woman was simply scared. They all drank and chatted for a while. The boy, in the meantime, managed to hit it off with two of the women, carefully bandaging her wound. They were just about to discuss their next escape plan when they were interrupted by the security guard who had turned into a zombie. The boy, unaware of the danger, was caught off guard when one of the flight attendants was bitten and froze in fear. At that moment, the boy also remembered his friend, and the girl refused to stick together with him. However, when the boy was in danger, the girl turned on the music from the game to help him escape everything. She tried to open the emergency exit but was surrounded by the flight attendants who had turned into zombies. In the chaos, with the girl's quick thinking and the boy and his friends setting off fireworks to distract the zombies, they managed to open the emergency door and escape. They prepared to flee in the RV. The girl, now cornered by zombies from all sides, had no choice but to reluctantly join them. During their conversation, they learned that her destination was also the aquarium. The girl, named Jingxiang, shared her story. After the boy's sincere invitation, Jingxiang reluctantly agreed to join their escape journey. Along the way, they bonded, enjoying the serene scenery on the water, sharing instant noodles with a dog, and having a great time filled with laughter. Eventually, they left the hot springs, and before they knew it, the time came for Jingxiang to part ways. Though they all felt reluctant to say goodbye, an accident occurred just as they were about to reach the aquarium. The car's headlights malfunctioned, causing the vehicle to lose control and crash into someone, knocking them unconscious. When the boy opened his eyes, he saw a manager and for a moment thought it had all been a dream. However, as he followed the manager on a tour of the aquarium, he then realized it was a new kind of company. It turns out that the boy had been brought to the aquarium by the manager and his team before the zombie virus outbreak. The manager and his team had taken over the aquarium, taking advantage of its strategic location. With no worries about food, they exploited the people there under harsh conditions. Everyone in the aquarium had to work in exchange for necessities, including alcohol. The manager even proudly showed the boy the security squad he had formed. They used loudspeakers to attract zombies, ensuring that the aquarium remained a safe haven by controlling the zombie movements. The manager hoped the boy would become his right-hand man to help maintain the aquarium's safety and control. However, a vehicle transporting supplies became a weak point. As soon as they opened the truck's doors, a zombie managed to bite someone, causing the virus to spread quickly among the crowd. Those reading were attacked, and the absolute safety of the aquarium was compromised. With the friend's help, the boy managed to escape the chaotic scene, sneaking into a storage area to gather some supplies. Despite everything, the boy still hoped his friends could survive safely, so he chose to compromise with the manager. However, Jingxiang, who had once saved the boy, returned to her home, determined to complete the 100 things she wanted to do before turning into a zombie. She took a notebook and started writing in front of him. The boy felt that dreams were something that should not exist, and he laughed coldly at the notion. Recalling the oppressive pressures he had faced, the boy angrily pushed the manager down and directly announced his resignation. However, a sudden commotion caused widespread panic among the crowd as a large group of zombies charged toward them. In a desperate attempt to escape, the manager shoved two of his subordinates into the zombies, sacrificing them to buy time. The boy, now furious, turned into a defiant figure. He knocked over a shelf, trapping 2 more colleagues who had been falsely accused. In the end, some of the survivors made their way to the back of the aquarium. The boy resented the selfish manager, wishing he could punch him right there. Where was the leadership that he was supposed to show? But after eating the zombie fish, they turned into long-legged monsters with enough strength to smash through walls. As they desperately tried to escape the storage area, the manager fell behind and was ultimately burned. Despite everything, the boy, surprisingly, wanted to go back and save him. With his friend's reminder, the boy specifically put on a protective suit meant for handling the zombie fish. In a twist of fate, the boy accidentally knocked over a pile of zombie supplies, causing a swarm of zombies to chase after both him and the manager. For the sake of his brotherly bond, his friend rushed in with the food cart to support the boy, fighting off the zombie fish. The boy quickly moved to rescue the manager, but there were too many zombies. In the end, he was overwhelmed and bitten, with a fish latched onto him. His friend felt only pain as the boy, still at the food cart, watched in horror as the zombie fish charged at them. Acting quickly, his friend managed to escape by car, but the girl could not stand it any longer. She grabbed a loudspeaker and used it to lure a large group of zombies away, leading them towards the water. In the meantime, his friend trapped the zombie fish in a wall cavity, finally able to breathe a sigh of relief. But to their surprise, the zombie fish broke through the wall and directly attacked the manager. The boy rushed to help, but the zombie fish bit down on his arm. In a panic, his friend didn't know what to do, but then he came up with an idea. Since the zombie fish had sensors inside its brain, his friend decided to use an electric machine to disrupt the sensors. Afterward, the boy, with a sigh of relief, used the electric machine his friend had just made and threw it directly at the zombie fish's nose. The fish suddenly became disturbed, knocking the boy away. A collision between his friend and the zombie fish quickly attracted more of them. His friend threw the electric machine towards the boy. This scene reminded the boy of how they had previously driven out of the competition in one go. This time, the transition was quite smooth. The boy received the electric machine and managed to overcome the zombie fish, achieving success after the crisis. Afterward, they distributed the materials in the aquarium and decided to leave. Supervisor, feeling powerless and disheartened, was left behind as he had become used to the crises brought about by his leadership. In the end, he was abandoned where he was. The boy and his friend drove away in an RV together, heading far from their previous troubles. The boy, who had survived the ordeal, encouraged his friends and they wrote their plans together. From now on, their common wish was to live freely and without fear. Thanks for watching. Please drop a heart to help our channel out.